The Reckoning. For years, the Red Knights ruled the streets of Maplewood, their leather vests a symbol of fear and intimidation. Complaints vanished at the sheriff's desk, and their reign of terror went unchecked. But everything changed one fateful morning, when they crossed paths with the wrong woman and her loyal German shepherd. They thought she was just another neighbor with a leash. They jeered, drew their weapons, and fired. They didn't know she was Jack Washington, a former Delta Force commander turned civilian. Now, the gang was about to learn that power meant more than just numbers. It meant facing the wrath of someone trained to fight back. The morning sun streamed through Jack's kitchen window, casting warm squares of light across her granite countertop. She moved with military precision, preparing breakfast for herself and Titan, her devoted German shepherd. "You hungry, boy?" she asked, her voice soft in the quiet morning air. Titan's tail thumped against the hardwood floor. His ears perked at the sound of his breakfast being prepared. A familiar knock at the screen door interrupted her thoughts. "Morning, Jack," called Gloria Brooks, her elderly neighbor, carrying a basket of fresh tomatoes. "Got some of those ripe ones from my garden for you." "Come on in, Gloria," Jack replied, wiping her hands on a dish towel. She smiled as Gloria stepped inside, her silver hair catching the sunlight. Titan rose to greet her, tail wagging as she scratched behind his ears. "There's my handsome boy," she cooed. "Always such a gentleman." Jack took the basket with genuine appreciation. "These look amazing, Gloria." "Thank you." She placed 2 tomatoes on her cutting board, already planning to include them in her breakfast. "Lord knows I've got more than I can handle," Gloria chuckled, settling into one of Jack's kitchen chairs. "My arthritis is acting up something fierce, but I refuse to let that garden go to waste." "You should let me help you with the weeding this weekend," Jack offered. "I know how your hands get now." "Don't you worry about me," Gloria waved her off, though her eyes crinkled with appreciation. "Though I wouldn't say no to some company while I work. How about you bring Titan? He loves watching me garden." As they chatted, Jack's mind drifted to the troubling news she had heard about the Red Knights. "Did you hear about what happened over on Oak Street?" Gloria asked, her voice dropping slightly. "Those Red Knights were hassling Mrs. Johnson's boy again yesterday." Jack's jaw tightened imperceptibly. "What happened?" "Followed him home from the convenience store, calling him names. Poor boy was terrified. His mama called the police. But you know how that goes. They showed up an hour later, said there was nothing they could do without proof." Jack sliced the tomatoes with precise movements, her knife hitting the cutting board with perhaps more force than necessary. "They're getting bolder." "They sure are," Gloria agreed, sipping her coffee. "Ever since that new leadership took over. Used to be they'd at least try to hide what they were doing. Now, broad daylight and proud of it, too." Jack plated her eggs and tomatoes, adding a piece of whole grain toast. "Community meetings are coming up next week," Gloria continued. "We're going to discuss setting up a neighborhood watch program. It would mean a lot to have someone with your experience there." Jack met Gloria's knowing look. While she kept her past mostly private, Gloria had a way of seeing through people. "I'll think about it," she replied carefully. "That's all I ask," Gloria smiled, finishing her coffee. "Well, I better get going. Got my morning prayers to attend to." She stood, patting Titan one more time. "You too enjoy your walk today. Weather's perfect for it." After Gloria left, Jack finished her breakfast while reading the morning news on her tablet. Titan sat at attention by the door, knowing their morning routine. "All right, boy," Jack said, clipping on his leash. "Let's get some exercise." The neighborhood park was only a few blocks away, tree-lined streets providing welcome shade from the strengthening morning sun. Jack maintained her situational awareness as they walked, a habit from her Delta Force days that served her well in civilian life. Titan's ears suddenly perked forward, his posture shifting slightly. Jack followed his gaze across the street, where 3 men in leather vests adorned with red patches loitered near a pickup truck. The Red Knights' colors were unmistakable, as was their focused attention on her and Titan. Jack kept her pace steady, her hand relaxed but ready on Titan's leash. She could feel their eyes following her movements, their stares heavy on her back. Titan remained alert but calm beside her, matching her controlled energy as they continued their walk. Jack found a quiet spot on her favorite bench, the aged wood worn smooth from years of use. She pulled a tennis ball from her pocket, and Titan's whole body tensed with excitement. "Easy now," she said, holding up a hand. Titan sat immediately, though his eyes remained locked on the ball. "Okay, go get it." She threw the ball with practiced accuracy, and Titan bounded after it, a blur of black and tan against the green grass. The simple joy of the moment washed over her, a rare feeling of peace. As Titan returned with the ball, Jack's mind drifted to her Delta Force days. The weight of her decisions then still sat heavy on her shoulders. But here in this park, with her loyal companion, she'd found something close to stability. No more midnight deployments, no more split-second choices that meant life or death, just quiet mornings and honest work as a security consultant. Suddenly, the tranquility shattered. A group of motorcycles rumbled past the park, the sound drawing her attention. Through the iron fence, she spotted Ricky Slade and 3 other Red Knights dismounting their bikes. Jack's body tensed instinctively, but she kept her movements casual as she called Titan back to her side. The German Shepherd responded instantly, picking up on her shift in energy. Ricky and his crew sauntered to the park gate, their leather vests decorated with patches declaring their allegiance. Other parkgoers quickly gathered their children and belongings, clearing a wide berth around the approaching gang members. Well, Ricky called out, his voice carrying across the now quiet park. If it isn't the neighborhood watchdog and her watchdog, his laugh echoed with malice. Jack remained seated, one hand resting lightly on Titan's collar. She said nothing, her face a mask of careful neutrality. "What's wrong?" Ricky stepped closer, his boots crunching on the gravel path. "Too good to say hello to your neighbors?" The morning sun glinted off his belt buckle, a Confederate flag design that matched the patch on his vest. "We're just enjoying the morning, Ricky," Jack replied evenly. "No need to disturb anyone." Ricky's face twisted into a sneer. "Disturb? Now that's funny coming from you. Some folks think you're the disturbance around here." He took another step forward, walking around like he owned the place, giving people ideas that Titan's muscles coiled in Jack's hand, but he held his position perfectly. Jack slowly stood, her movement deliberate and controlled. "I've lived here 15 years, Ricky. I'm not looking for trouble." 15 years too long, one of Ricky's companions spat. "This used to be a nice neighborhood." Jack felt her jaw tighten, but kept her voice level. "We both know what you mean by nice." Ricky's face reddened. "That dog of yours looks pretty mean. Probably dangerous." He reached behind his back. "Maybe we should do something about that." Before Jack could react, Ricky fired his gun. Titan yelped in pain and collapsed. Jack lunged forward, but Ricky's men held her back. "Should have stayed in your place," Ricky sneered, standing over Titan's body. As police sirens wailed in the distance, Jack knelt beside Titan, cradling him in her arms. "I'm sorry," she whispered, tears streaming down her face. The police arrived, but Sheriff Mercer dismissed her claims, siding with Ricky and his gang. Jack was arrested for assault and maintaining a dangerous animal, her pleas for justice ignored. In jail, she plotted her escape, determined to expose the corruption that allowed the Red Knights to operate with impunity. With the help of Malik Owens, a civil rights attorney, and Gloria, Jack gathered evidence of the Red Knights' connections to local law enforcement. They documented years of corruption, planning a memorial for Titan that would serve as a rallying point for the community. As the memorial unfolded, Jack spoke passionately about Titan and the need for justice. The community rallied around her, sharing their own stories of abuse and intimidation. The evidence they collected gained national attention, leading to investigations into the Red Knights and Sheriff Mercer INA climactic confrontation. Jack and her allies exposed the gang's corruption, leading to multiple arrests. The community began to heal, united against the fear that had once silenced them. Jack stood at the memorial, surrounded by friends and neighbors, Titan's memory alive in their hearts. Together, they vowed to ensure that justice would prevail, not just for Titan, but for everyone who had suffered under the Red Knight's reign of terror. The fight for justice was just beginning, but they were ready to face it together as the sun set on Maplewood. The community gathered to honor Titan and all those who had suffered. Jack felt a renewed sense of purpose, knowing that they would not let fear dictate their lives any longer. The The Red Knights had underestimated the strength of a united community, and now they would face the consequences of their actions. With Titan spirit guiding her, Jack was determined to fight for justice, not just for herself, but for every voice that had been silenced. The battle was far from over, but together, they would reclaim their town and ensure that no one would ever have to live in fear again.